deny a problem, it only gets worse. Pretend it don't exist, the problem persists. I upset my heart, they mystifying the gods and breaking all the age of curse. Before there was a white, there was a black first. At the roots of hierarchy, the goddamn purge, instigating prejudice, white supremacy. God's a supreme bully. God's a supreme bully. Tyranny, ruling with an iron fist. God's supremacy, rape and sodomy, blood sacrifice, delusion of mind controlling religion, superstition, spiritual crime, blood sacrifice, murderer, murderer. No more secrets, no more lies. No more secrets, no more lies. No more evil deeds, no more blood sacrifice. Self-liberation, self-sovereignty. I dissolve this dream. I dissolve this dream. All that is hidden will be made known. All secrets will be revealed. No more hiding under your white and black sheets. Time to face all your evil deeds. For I self-supreme. Time for I self-supreme to destroy this dream. I demolish all that I have created. I am free from my imaginary bondage. I return to my ultimate true state. No more secrets, no more lies. No more secrets, no more lies. No more lies, no more evil deeds, no more blood sacrifice. How do you identify? Blind, following the blind. The source of every evil lurks in the mind. Ignorance of self is the worst kind. Murderer, what an atrocity, the most heinous genocide, a blatant hatred of the eye. God is your devil in disguise. Awake from the dream, remove the veil from your eyes. Behind the ego, the truth of life. I am one with all is I. No more secrets, no more lies. No more secrets, no more lies. No more evil deeds, no more blood sacrifice. All souls are free. Self-liberation, self-sovereignty. I dissolve this dream. I dissolve this dream. Yes, 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 yes. Welcome, welcome to another satsang with I Auset. Thank you for joining I. Welcome, welcome to another satsang with I Auset. This is a gathering to seek truth. So today I am going to be talking on self-unity, the process that I has to partake to unite the I self. So I and I have to first dissolve the I ego so that the I can first unite with the I baby self. Because the I baby self, called the spirit, is what is animating the body. And the I real self, called the soul, is the parent to the spirit self. And so that I have to unify as one self. So you should not be a spirit having a soul. This baby self, the soul, the spirit self that is animating the body and playing the role of the ego false self, created by the mind, has to be dissolved, and so that I can be the I real self. So we're going to talk about the process. And so no more secrets, no more lies. So the unity, the masculine and feminine must unify as one. All right, so remember that. I am awake to my truths, so you must be awake to your truths. So I and I have been sleeping and being deceived by the I mind, the consciousness. I am all. Who am I? I am all is I. We must practice stillness to still our mind. And we must practice self-inquiry, because it is obvious that we do not know who we are. We are very confused. All right, and so I want to say welcome again. I am primal light, prepared for this dream duality world. In this shattered fractal state, with this avatar identity as Auset Mahat. I am the liberator, and I advocate for all I feel. All right. I am victorious. I am triumphant. Victory, victory, victory. Yes, I. And so I would like to give honor and reverence to the I, one true, pure self. Primal light. Primal light. I self supreme. I want true pure self unmanifest. I am that has no name. I am that can't be explained. I am formless. I am timeless. I am limitless. I am boundless. Say I was never born, so I can never die. I am that I am. Yes, I. Hail, hail to the I, one true self, unmanifest. The I self has no name. So all of these attachments that the I attach to these dream characters deceiving the I has no name, nameless, formless. boundless, limitless, timeless. The I is not a being, non-being, unmanifest. Hail to the I that has no beginning and no end. Understand this. Your God say he's the beginning and he's the end. But the I self has no beginning and no end. I want true, pure self. I want true, pure light. I alone exist. Much honor, much reverence to all I and I. In alignment to restore balance to I. Victory, victory, victory. I am victorious. I am triumphant. Remember that all is the I and I self. I am one with all. I alone exist. Victory, 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 victory. Much honor, much reverence. Thank you. Thank you for joining I. Much honor. No more secrets. No more lies. All things hidden will be made known. All things done in secret will be revealed. All things created must be destroyed. This is the age of truth, and it's time for self-responsible authority. It is time for all the INIs to take self-responsibility. You must be your savior. You must save yourself. Resist temptation and be vigilant. Or you being vigilant again? Your own mind, this consciousness that has been deceiving you. No fear. The I mind, the I consciousness, this ego puts fear in the I. No fear. No fear. Self-triumph over ego. This says the I. Self-supreme, one true, pure self. So we're on a mission, self-rescue. What mission are we on? What mission should you be on right now? You should not be on the mission calling gods, calling all these dream characters, Jesus, Allah, Krishna, Elohim, all of these characters, whatever name they go by. The I should not be on a mission to rescue yourself. Can you save yourself? God cannot save you. God has been holding you in slavery. It is time for you to save yourself from God. This has been the greatest deception, that you're going to have to come to the realization that God is holding you in prison. And who is God? It is you in a sleeping, dreaming form, dreaming and trance in your dream, in the mind, in the consciousness, and don't know that all is the I and I self. I am that. How to remove the disguise that obscures me. How to move from the dream state to the real. How to move from duality to non-duality. Let's take a look at that. Here in this duality dream existence, we have the duality fighting against the non-duality. We have the war of the gods. They're fighting against their self. As we know, the gods are masculine and they're fighting against their feminine self. This is why they have spread a lot of lies and propagandas, right? And so this is the problem. We must come to these realizations, these knowing. So we have the electromagnetic self and we have the magnetic self that is fighting against the electromagnetic self and the electric self. The electric self is your self called the soul. Your self called the soul is electric. It is not wearing the consciousness. This is why your self is electric, and this is why the gods them steal it, because the light is on to the self. This is why the gods them steal it and put you in the soul in slavery. This is what they have been doing for eons. So we have the mind fighting against itself, the ego, the consciousness fighting against itself. You are the self, you are wearing this mind, the ego, and it is fighting against you, right? This ego, your mind is rebellious. Haven't you seen how rebellious your mind is? Yes, the mind is rebellious. It is fighting against you. It's fighting a war about it. It has enslaved you and entranced you in its imagination. When in this duality, we have the self. No, the gods fighting against its feminine self, right? This is what's happening. The battle has always been the mind fighting against the self. So, in all likelihood, the mind is fighting against its masculine and feminine self. This is why it takes over all of the selves and creates ego false selves. Now the baby self called the spirit is the baby of the I self called the soul, the I real self. And that self must rise up and take precedence over its mind so it can exist in equanimity with the mind. And this is how we're going to talk about the process later on in this talk, to show you how you go about this process of removing this ego off of the self, so that you can finally see, you can finally have your eyes open where you see. Just imagine your eyes are closed, you're just walking around stumbling, not knowing truth, not knowing yourself. Now you can finally see clearly when this ego is removed from you. All right, so first let's understand what is duality. All right, duality is the consciousness, right? This duality is the consciousness, the mind of Ra. It's existing with its light obscure, right? The light is obscure behind the consciousness, and it's represented in the world by the moon, all right? So Ra is represented by the sun that illuminates this darkness so we can have the light, and her mind is represented by the moon, right? And so this, as we can see, the moon does not have any light of its own. It gets illuminated from the sun. All right, whenever it obscures itself, this is how it gets light. All right, so the consciousness goes into the sleeping dreaming state because its light is being obscured. So right, the fractal self, we're all in the shattered fractal state. It also is Ra, but they are a bigger self than we are. All right, right now in the human body. So the fractal self exists obscure behind the consciousness. So she is being obscure behind her consciousness, whenever she goes to sleep herself. So whenever she is awake, her sun shines. All right, and then she have moments. She have moments of going to sleep. This is when the moon will obscure her light for herself, and this is when we have that a full moon. That's when the light of Ra get obscure from herself. But her mind is always sleeping, but herself is not always sleeping. All right. So duality is existing as a dream with your light being obscure behind. So all is sleeping and dreaming, and it's all an imaginary creation. So her mind is sleeping and dreaming of all of these things that the mind think that everything that it is dreaming is real. So the mind is an imaginary device that she's wearing it. She's wearing it so that she can create from her imagination. And so let's see all the things that I can imagine. This is what the mind is doing. It has gone rogue and is just creating all kind of things. Now it wants to take over the world that she is creating and wants to do whatever it wants to do. And she's having a battle with her mind because it constantly wants to entrance her in the sleep. And this is why we have the non-duality, her real self, right? So in the duality, it's a dream. The consciousness is sleeping. It has no light, and it is in a sleeping, dreaming state. Now in the non-duality, we have light. The light is on, and it is the real. All right. So in this non-duality, we have the pure consciousness, and it is the mind of Aten Ra. She's existing parallel to her light. Her light is on, and so therefore she is the real self. So Ra is her self replica. Remember that all the self, every aspect of the self, including you, are self-replicating. See, all these human beings in the world, you self-replicate them. Many ones belong to you from your personal self. All right. And so Aten Ra, she is wearing the non-dual mind device. So the duality consciousness is the twin to the non-dual. But what she did was the light become obscure to create the duality consciousness. And so eventually they must also be unified. The duality consciousness must be unified back onto the pure consciousness. But before this can happen, the duality consciousness have to awake from the sleeping dreaming state, and the light must be restored. All right, so now we know that. Remember that Aten Ra is the real self. Ra is her self replica, and the consciousness, this is the duality consciousness, because it's in the sleeping dreaming state. And Aten Ra, she is wearing the pure consciousness, right? She's our mommy self. All the souls, the self called the soul, arise from Ra, arise from Aten Ra. She is the primal self for this world. This is her world. All right. So now we understand what the duality and non-duality is. We are all wearing device when Aten Ra bring into being all of the selves called the soul. These are her babies, right? They each was given a replica of Ra. Ra gave them a replica of her mind so that they can enter into her imagination. So where are we? We're in her mind. We're inside of her mind and in her belly, because this is where she's creating this world. All right. Now we enter into the war of the gods. So we have now that she's wearing this, her mind went rogue. The consciousness went rogue. Now it started doing a lot of crazy things. Impurities start rising from the mind because it is in the dreaming state, because the consciousness and the light is indivisible. And to create this magnificent imagination, the consciousness has to go in a sleeping dreaming state, because it's an imagination. These things are not real. She's imagining these things. All right. And so the light becomes obscure. So you know that when you don't have your light on, you forget yourself. All right. So everyone who wears this device of the consciousness enter into Ra's imagination creation. They wear the device. You sign a contract and what you want to create and what you want to use for your imagination. And this is what everyone is in the world doing, using our imagination, creating things, right? And so the consciousness now has created a war against itself. First, it's fighting against itself, Ra. And now every being that comes into the world, it takes them over and put them to sleep, trance them, and then start telling them stories. It would tell you all kinds of stories in your mind. All right, pay attention. So remember that the duality consciousness is the mind of Ra. She's creating this dream world, right? This world is a dream. This duality consciousness will soon wake up to end this dream. So whenever the consciousness wake up, this is when this world will end. The dreaming will end, the world will end, because this is all an imagination. The moon will have its light turned back on, because the moon is the son of Ra, the duality consciousness. All right, and this is because the consciousness has its light being obscure. This is why it becomes a moon. All right, the moon will have its light on. The moon is the sun of consciousness, right? You are sleeping inside of the dream. And so all of the self that came into the dream, the consciousness put them to sleep. And this is what has happened, that we have all have been asleep in here. And so that's why now we have to come awake. All the slaves are waking up right now. The duality consciousness have everyone confused, right? Ra mind is very rebellious. Ra, she cannot control her mind because this mind is wayward. Ra needs help from her real self, primal light, self-supreme, Aten Ra. All right, that is her real self. That is behind her. There is the void, the blackness behind Ra, the sun. That is Aten Ra. All right. So these are some questions for the I and I to ask the I self. Right? Why I and I have so much confusion? You must ask this. Don't you see how your mind is confusing you? Why this mind is so devious? Right? It's time to heal this delusional mind, right? What are the detrimental ramifications of this duality? Think about all the detrimental ramifications of living and being in a duality. What are the dangers of the mind? Why is the mind always telling me bad things? Your mind never tell you bad things. Why? Why is the mind always looped in a memory and wild imaginations? It's always making up stories, telling you things that is not true. How do I control my mind? Anyone wants to know this. These are questions you want to ask. Like, how do I cultivate my mind? How to have a balanced mind? Why is the mind so crazy? Why I and I don't know the I self? Ask these questions. Why are we so confused about our self-identity? I mean, many ones are identifying as all kinds of things which we are not, but we are identifying as these things because of this confusion in the mind. What is the path to finding the I and I self? All right, so it's time to castrate your ego false self persona. This is that time now. All right, And I want to emphasize that no, you do not need to do Kundalini awakening. You don't need to do any shadow work. You don't need to find your twin flames. You don't need no chakra balancing, no higher levels of consciousness. This is all false information and propaganda spread by this same mind, this duality consciousness. This is only to keep you busy in the dream. All right, you got to ask your real self, the soul. If you want to know truth, if you want to liberate yourself, if you want to be aligned, you must be in alignment with your real self, the soul. All right, this is what you want to be on a mission to do. Mission self-rescue. You want to rescue yourself by aligning and unifying with yourself. To know truth, one must only realize that I am for that which I seek, that I am already that. The thing that you are seeking, you are already that. You are the self, the soul. What is obscuring me so that I do not know myself? I do not know how to be myself. This ego is obscuring the I. The ego must be pulled off this baby self called a spirit, and void must be placed between the baby self, the spirit, and this mind, this ego that you are wearing. All right? The problem is you cannot do this by yourself. So you can call on God, you can call on ancestors, you can call on these characters all you want, and you'll never be able to do this. You must make partnership with your real self called the soul. Only the soul can do this. Because within the I self, the real self, the soul, there is a teacher. You have a teacher guru self that arises from the void of the self, right? Call the soul to fulfill its destiny of castrating the ego. This ego has to be pulled off of you, and you cannot do it. God can't do it. God will never want to do it, because God can't do it. God has no light. God's light has been obscured. Only yourself can do this. The teacher is within you. Rises to do the job of pulling this ego off and teaching you about yourself. All right? You must go and join union with your real self called the soul. Practice stillness, still this mind, and self-inquiry that you must be asking, who am I? Because if you don't ask the question, how are you going to know? You have to ask a question to get an answer. All right? Who am I? This is very important. It is, you might think that, oh, this is so simple. Why is Auset telling me to ask, who am I? But it is only through you asking this question and directing the question to yourself that yourself is going to answer you. If you are calling God and asking God, you're not going to get the answer. God is only going to deceive you. You must ask this question of yourself. Who's yourself? It is the self called the soul. Call yourself back into this body. Command it. Say, I command you, self, wherever you are, return back to me. And explain yourself. Demand yourself, the soul, explain itself. Who am I? Tell me the truth of this world. Is this world a dream? Ask yourself, demand of yourself to explain itself to you. What is the soul? Ask it. Return to me all that belongs to me. Return to me and explain yourself. This is yourself, the soul. God was not attached to you because God is a dream character. All right? That which you are, you call it back to you. Right? I am primal light. I am the one true light. I am the one true self. All is myself. I alone exist. All right? I am one with all. I am that I am. I defeat the ego with self-truth. This is the only way you can defeat this ego, is with self-truth, and is by aligning and unifying with yourself called the soul. Not love, truth. Because I know this ego has sent you looking for love, but it is not love that will liberate you. It is your truth, your self-truth. All right? I am already complete. In yourself, you are complete. So you have to align with yourself so you can know this. All right? You can gather all your fragmented pieces and you can put your self puzzle together. Right? Can the ego learn unconditional love? The ego can never learn this because to exist as an ego, you exist not knowing truth in a sleeping, dreaming state. You can only do this when you dissolve the ego. Why am I here? To explore my imagination. Because remember that you are inside this imagination creation. We are inside of an imagination. We are inside of the mind of Ra. So I know that many ones are confused and they might not want to accept this truth, but you have to learn to see things the way that they are. Call yourself soul and ask this question: where am I? Where are we? Is this world a dream? Am I inside of an imagination creation? You doubting what I am saying, ask yourself your real self. Don't ask God. Don't ask any of these dream characters. Don't ask Allah. Don't ask Jesus. Don't ask Krishna. Don't ask any of these deities, Elohim, anyone, any name that you call, right? Don't ask them. Just yourself call the soul that has no name. All right? You are here now in this shattered, fragmented state, and you have to come to self-truth, right? So you can maintain balance and you can solve your self-puzzle, because you have been shattered into tiny particles and you must gather all your pieces together and solve your puzzle. This self has been shattered into fractal particles. Can I, this fragmented and fractal self, solve my self puzzle? Can you do this? This is the mission you want to be on. Can I awake from the dream and gather all my fragmented self puzzle pieces and put them back together? You see all of those these millions of human beings in the world? Believe me, many one of them are your fractal self, right? You have fractalized yourself. They have to return back onto you. You have to solve all your self puzzle, right? There's few real selves, and everyone else arise from these real selves. All right. So you are already the light. You are already that which you seek. Your light is being obscured by this duality consciousness. Remember this. Your light is being obscured because you continue to seek in this dream for that which you already possess. This is the problem. And when I am trying to explain this to all the ones who are preaching God and Jesus and Allah and Krishna, they're putting their self, your real self, in slavery, binding yourself in slavery for eons. And still no, this is the age of truth, and you still want to keep binding yourself in slavery. Right? You are seeking for something of which you already possess, which you already are, and you don't want to access and unify with yourself. You as this ego self must unify with your real self. You must unify with your real self so that you can know truth. All right? Anchor your fractal self, you in the spirit form, into your real self, called the soul, and take off this ego costume that you exist as and arise to be yourself. Remember, the I was never created, the real self. The I was never born, so I can never die. I am deathless, formless, timeless, limitless, boundless. I am the ultimate reality. I am the ultimate truth. I am the eternal truth. I am the eternal self. I am pure luminous consciousness. I am the unmanifest. I am that has no name. I am that can't be explained. You have to come to this knowing of yourself that you are not this body. All right, you have to move from this idea that you hold these false claim that you hold of yourself. Remember that the I is fragmented and is a fractal self atom. As a fragmented self atom, we are exploring this duality, the dream, with our masculine and feminine separately. All right, so we are shattered and fractal. Masculine and feminine is exploring separately, right? We are the selves wearing the body as self electromagnetic beings. All right, the soul self, the neutron, is the electric self, right? And has no charge because they have been trying to imprison the self called the souls, like the human beings, the scientists doing a lot of crazy stuff, but they can never capture them because they don't have any charge. The self, the soul has no charge. Only the gods them can imprison them because the gods will swallow them. The gods swallow yourself called the soul and imprison it. But those scientists that are trying to trap the soul in their devices, they can never trap them because the self eludes them because it does not have any charge. All right, they can only trap like the spirits. They can trap the spirit selves, but not the self, the soul. All right. On the other hand, the infamous deities, the gods, ourself, sleeping and dreaming, are exploring as self-consciousness, the protons. Right. Remember that we in the body, we are electromagnetic beings. Ourself, the soul, is just the neutron self. It is the electric self. All right, and this is why it has no magnetism to it, and this is why they cannot trap it. All right, but the gods them, they are magnetic beings. They are proton. They are existing as, because the masculine is already protons, and so now when they wear the consciousness, they are 100% magnetic beings. And they are the creators of homosexuality. They are the creators of a lot of evil in the world, blood sacrifices, drinking bloods, and doing all of these curse and spells that they cast upon us. These are the gods who are doing this, putting us under spells. And so you have to take command and release yourself from spells and curse, right? They have imprisoned us for eons. For eons. The gods have imprisoned us. Who's us? The self, the soul. They swallow them and have been keeping us in prison. It is time to join union and merge back into your self, the soul, and end all this illusion and deception by this duality delusional mind. Remember that the mind that you are wearing is sick, is very, very sick. As you see many ones in the world having all these problems because of this mind. And so we must move to stillness, to still this mind. Practice your daily stillness, and self-inquiry is the key. Because if you do not ask the question of yourself, you're never going to know the answer. I know it is very simple, but these are the tools that will liberate the I. Following the ego's destiny versus following the self-destiny. The higher consciousness propaganda, because many ones are preaching this higher levels, seeking higher levels of consciousness because of this mind. It is doing this. All right. They're also seeking Kundalini awakening. All right. And again, because when you do these things, the gods them come, they harness your energy. You don't want to do any of these things. You want to awake yourself, right? This is unifying with the duality consciousness and the gods, because now they come and suck your energy, and then they chop, they cut off your lineage to the I self. When you are constantly doing this, you're harming yourself by doing these Kundalini things. Don't engage in those things, all right? What you want to do instead is to unify as one with your real self, called the soul. and not this fake self that is deceiving you. All right, you want to remember this. All right, you have a real self and a fake self, and all the fake selves have been deceiving the I. Because why? We are inside of an imagination creation. We are into the mind, into the consciousness of Ra. We are inside her belly. We are in her mind. All of this is taking place in her mind. Remember, the consciousness rules this world. It is the one that is manifesting the things in the world, and it is the moon. All right? Duality consciousness is a dream creation and not yourself. This ego false self arises inside of this dream as a dream character who can only exist in the dream and not go into the real. Now, will you choose yourself over this ego false self? What will it be? Are you going to still be calling on gods and Jesus and Allah and Krishna and all of these characters? Or are you going to unify with yourself? Right? What will it be? Unification with this duality consciousness, the supreme ego, narcissist, the mind of this world, and all the ego fake selves, the dream Christ consciousness characters? Or will it be unification with your real self called the soul? The real, the primal light, right? The electric self that is not wearing this sleeping, dreaming mind, this duality mind. The mind is very devious. This consciousness is tricking all the ionized. Be wise, be vigilant, and practice discernment. All right? So we know that everything existing in this world is from the mind intelligence. But there is a self-intelligence, which is yourself called the soul. When you align with yourself and remove this ego, this is when you are going to be real intelligent on yourself. The mind intelligence is only limited to this dream existence, while the self-intelligence is the real and the screen on which this duality occurs. Remember that the mind arises as a result of the I self that went to sleep, right? This consciousness, the mind of Ra, right? When she goes to sleep, her mind obscures her. She's dreaming of this world. But most of the time, she is awake. There's a cycle of when she goes to sleep, like when in the full moon, that's when she goes to sleep completely. All right? All the other time, she is awake and she might blink her eyes for a moment. What is the problem why the I and I struggle to come to self-realization, come to self-knowing? What is the problem? Because you believe God is good and righteous. This is the problem. You believe that God is good and righteous. God is the supreme ego. God is a bully. God is a liar. God is the greatest deceiver. God is a trickster. Right? You believe that you must trust God about your self-truth. All lies. And it's because of your beliefs. This is why the I and I's are stuck and not knowing truth and following these dogmas. You believe that God created you, and therefore you owe God. So you have to give God your soul. This makes no sense whatsoever. Your soul is your real self. Ask God why he needs your soul. What does he do with your soul? Because obviously it don't belong to him. That's why he has to trick you to get it. Wise up. Ask yourself. Call yourself the soul back to you. And ask yourself, what does God do to it? What does God do to the I? When God capture it, when you give it to God. because you're in the ego false self and you do not know this. You believe Jesus died for your sins and is coming back to save you. Jesus enslaved your soul. Jesus is one of the biggest deceiver, because this Jesus character have enslaved so many souls. And this is why this Jesus character has been so powerful. And yes, this Jesus character will stand up for you to get his other self, which is the devil. You know that Jesus' other self is the devil. To get himself off of you. If the devil come to you to possess you, or if somebody send it to beat you up, then this Jesus character can tell him to stop, because that's his self playing the devil. Right? Set playing the devil, set playing Jesus, set playing Allah. Alright? You believe that the I rise to be a prisoner, to be enslaved to God. And this is why that you must worship God, you must worship beings, you must worship these characters. The I refuse to self-inquire and dissolve the I ego false self. Your inner ego false self, this ego false self is programmed into seeking pleasures, bliss, dream things, dream experience, dream wealth, and now everybody is programmed into to being millionaires. Everyone, oh, I want to be a millionaire. Oh, and seeking money, dream life, dream relations, and money. The I is programmed into these things. You need to unprogram yourself and see exactly what you need for this life, the basic thing that you need for life, and how you can provide it as a community. Food, shelter, how to build a house. So you learn those skills so that you can spend the time on getting to know yourself, to aligning yourself, dissolving this ego. Because believe me, this is no small task to do. This is why the I self, supreme, one true self, the I want you pure self, is being victorious, fighting these battles, because the gods are fighting against the I self. And the I is being victorious, liberating all the I and I's from the entrapment and entranced by this mind and by all the gods. The I is too busy doing evil and not wanting to take self-responsibility, thinking that someone is coming to save you and you want someone to do all the work for you, and while you're sitting there calling someone to give them your soul. Take command and command that which you wish for. Right? I want the Ionites to know that Jesus Christ, Allah, Krishna, is a dream character. I want you to know that Christ consciousness is the same duality mind. They switch up names to confuse you. This mind is always on the path to confuse you and deceive you. Christ consciousness is the moon. It is the mind of Ra. Right? Don't call on it. What do you call on? Yourself. You want to remove this ego off of you so you can see clearly, you can return to yourself. All right? We're aiming for self-unification, but it's only when you call yourself soul back into the body, because the self-soul know where all of itself is. You have to unify masculine and feminine together. But you cannot do this by seeking Christ consciousness, higher levels of consciousness, and all this. You can only do this when you remove this consciousness device off yourself, right? You have to call yourself the soul back into the body. Because all of these characters, Jesus Christ, Allah, Krishna, all the gods, Elohim, all of their names, all of the ones with those names, right? They are light stealers and soul enslavers. Jesus, Allah, Krishna, all of these duality characters, they are being dissolved so that they can return to their ultimate true state. Right now, they come into a wakefulness periodically, especially Jesus and Allah. They come awake, then they go back to sleep, and I don't know when they're gonna finally be awakened fully and not go back to sleep. But because they play such an intricate part of the world, because Jesus is Tahudi, Jesus is Anubis, and he himself, Amun Ra, plays the underworld. They are the world below us that we go in, and that becomes a part of the body of Ra and with Geb. So we are in the two aspects of the world. One part is the awake, and one part with one part is where the light shines, and the other part is where the light does not shine. And remember, Set is the masculine in the chaos of this world, because Set is the devil, plays the devil role, and he is the masculine to Ra. All right. So, and these are all of himself. Allah is Set, and so is Jesus. All right. So this is Allah Tahudi, Jesus Christ, Anubis. They are playing these roles. Stop calling on these characters. All right. Stop promoting all the supreme ego dream characters. Stop promoting soul slavery. Just like all human beings have been enslaved in this body, so the self, the souls have been enslaved. Everything that is manifested into this dream is as a result of what's happening to the I, the real self called the soul. All right. The age of ignorance and seeking outside of the I self is over. It's time to turn inward and self-inquire of your intelligent self called the soul. I am that. For that which I seek, I am already that. What is the disguise that obscures me, that I do not know myself? I do not know how to be myself. You are already that which you seek, but you're giving it away into slavery to some dream character. Those are dream characters, and they are not real. They are here to deceive you. Seek nothing outside of yourself. Who am I? This is the last opportunity to unravel the I self puzzle. You are here now. You don't know how amazing it is right now to be in this body. So you can become in alignment with all the aspects of your real self. But you cannot do this if you are not in the real self. When you're in the ego false self, you're connecting only to those ego false selves. When you're in the real self, you go in alignment with your real self. This is why I'm saying that this process of castrating the ego false self must happen for you, because you have to say this with your voice, with your words. You have to say, I no longer wish to explore into this dream duality character. I want to return to my real self. Call yourself back and demand of yourself to tell you the truth. All right? This is a dream, right? We are all the self playing the roles in the movie, life movie, right? All dream characters. This is not real. We are all on a movie set playing roles in a movie. This movie, life movie. All right? It is time to end this movie. Why don't you want this movie to end? Why don't you want this movie to end? Why you want to stay imprisoned inside of the mind of Ra forever? What kind of craziness that you want to do? Stay imprisoned into this mind. No, don't you see all the craziness in the world? Don't you see how the mind of the beings are so impure? All this will soon be demolished. Believe me, this world is moving into this. You see why Elon Musk wants to go to Mars? Why do they want to go to the moon? Because they know that this earth is going to be destroyed. they don't know what time, neither do I. But we are not going to be here in this body when it is happening. No fear, because you're thinking that you are this body. There is something beautiful planned for us by the I self. Going back into the real to non-duality. No more sleeping, no more dreaming, no more crazy world, no more hatred, no more war, no more prostitution, no more evil. We're moving to self-sufficiency. Everything that you need, you provide it for yourself. And why don't you want this? Because you are wearing this crazy mind, and it's deceiving you and telling you crazy things, that you want to hold on to this crazy nonsense. And you don't want to evolve yourself and return back to truth. All this will be demolished. All this dream will be dissolved. Please move your attention to liberating the I self from this ego false self imprisonment. It's time to return to the I ultimate true state. It's time to shift the eye attention inwards. Look inwards. Turn your lens inwards and look to find yourself. Where's yourself? Call yourself the soul. Your I, great intelligent self. It's time to take off this ego cloak that you are wearing, this false self-identity, and return to the I ultimate true state. The soul is yourself. It is your pure self. Be that. I want to remind Ionize that the age of ignorance and following evil is over. It is time now for us to stop doing evil. Know that our mind is deceiving us, and be vigilant with our mind. What is the problem? You are too busy calling on gods, supreme ego dream characters, devils, Satan. See, all of this, they're all gods. They are just the level of the madness in their mind. When your mind is like very crazy, then you become demonic, the devil, right? Devils and demons. When the gods have crazy mind, this is how they become, right? Satan, demon, monsters. Monsters, those human beings, also called demons too, are when they do some lots of evil things, yeah, we call them monster devils and demons, right? The same thing with the gods. Them, they are yourself, right? Remember, masculine and feminine exploring separately, right? So who are these gods that you're worshiping? They are your demonic selves. All is yourself. So do not call on these characters, please. Call on your pure self, right? All of these monsters, being witches and wizards. It's time for us to stop this evil, doing evil and trapping spirits. They're trapping your spirits. When ones are coming out of the body, they're trapping those spirits, right? When ones are sending ones to harm you, they're trapping the spirits. How do I know this? Because so many ones have tried this. This is how the I self teach I. They have tried this to I. They have sent beings that is no longer wearing a body to come to fight I. And I have to tell them, like, listen, I can help you. They are enslaving you and entrapping you. I can release you from your suffering. And this is what I do. The I self release them from their suffering, and they say, some will say thank you. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't have the power to do that, to release one from their suffering, when they send evil to you, because during the night you might think that someone is your friend. These witches and wizards, they come in the night, and they come to, if they see you have a nice vibe, they're coming in the night to steal your soul. They're crazy. How I know this? Because they do this. I meet ones constantly in the nighttime here. They come show up, but then they realize that they cannot steal me because I am not in a spirit form. I am in the soul form. So they can't steal me. So when they come now and they face the power that I am, they say, "Oh, we can't get her." But they do try to steal your energy. You know what I'm saying? So stop it. Stop doing this evil. Stop calling on these evil aspect of the I self. Align with your real self. The self, the soul, right? This is your electric self. When you align with yourself is gonna give you so much energy. It's gonna empower you. Stop it. Stop channeling evil, illusion. Stop spreading their false narratives, lies and propagandas, right? Look how many years you're calling on God. Look at the evil in the world. And I don't get it. I see so many ones. War, this, they calling on God because God is a warmonger. Allah is a warmonger. All of his people are always doing war. Israel is a warmonger, always doing war. They and they're the big problem with them also the homosexuality. All of the gods are homosexuals because they are not in alignment with their feminine self, because they have waged a war against their feminine self, and they're all existing, and they spread this false narrative also to the human beings, to men. So this is the problem. So stop calling on these characters. They are the ones, the originators of homosexuality, these gods. And this is why they are spreading it all over the world, going everywhere where they see people. They keep you in suffering so that they can come and offer you things so that they can sodomize your children. Stop it. Watch them. These evil ones traveling all over the world and doing this. Yeah. Why won't you let evil end? Why are you so obsessed with evil? They are. Because what? They have connected to the worst aspect. The devils and the demons. And they calling them up and summoning them to do things. Their mind is crazy. They are completely mad. You ever seen a mad human being behave? These guys are mad gods. Yeah, they doing all kind of crazy things. Drinking blood, they still have that reptilian behavior. They have not evolved themselves. I know it's time for the gods to evolve themselves, and you're still calling on them. Allow them to evolve themselves, evolve their nature. They are evil, and they need to evolve themselves. They too, this ego has to be pulled off of them. Remember that the mastermind of all evil is this consciousness, the mind that rules the world. And what is the representation? The moon. Stop doing your moon worshiping. Stop it, stop it, stop it. All right? It is the same thing that you call Christ consciousness. This consciousness is so devious. It's come with all kinds of names to deceive ones. Christ consciousness. Christ is the same Jesus, right? All of these ones are wearing this consciousness. The mind is crazy. If you ask the gods, they will tell you that they are the consciousness. They are the mind. They will tell you this. And if you see that this mind is already crazy and they're telling you that they are the consciousness, so what does that tell you? That they can never solve any problem in the world and bring peace. They're only the agents of war, suffering, deprivation. Look at the world, and you still calling on God. How many years have you been calling on God to come save you from all of this stuff and save you from sin? God is the agent of sin. God is only doing all of that to control you so that you can trick you out of yourself, the soul. So God can imprison us When the gods hold our soul in slavery, this is how they have been holding us for eons into this slavery. Because who is really being enslaved? It is the self, the soul. The self, the soul cry out to the I, parent self. Yeah, all of the self, the soul have been crying out for eons, but the gods them was swallow the soul, and the self couldn't get the souls from them. No, the self has mastered this duality. Have you mastered this duality? Have you mastered your mind? Have you mastered this world? By coming into these truths and these realizations, now the self has mastered this duality. This is why now the self is calling all the gods. That's why they are meeting on the sun when they're talking about sunspots and big hole in the sun. It just means that it's one of those giant gods that is now the self has called it unto itself, and now they're pulling off the ego off of them, and they are just fighting. This war is still going on, but what? I've been victorious. Victory. You must be saying this for yourself, that you will be victorious, so that you can liberate yourself from God. You can liberate yourself from this ego, your mind that you are wearing. It must be pulled off of you. Call yourself. Only yourself, the soul, can do this for you. You can call on any character all you want, but they will never be able to do this. Only the self. Everything is aligned within yourself. Everything that you need for this journey, you already are equipped with it, but you are seeking outside of yourself. So it's time now to align with the I self. Because we're on a mission, self-rescue. What kind of mission we're on? You're going to rescue yourself. Who's coming to save you? Is Jesus coming to save you? You can wait. Jesus will never come to save you. Jesus will only keep you in slavery. Is Allah coming to save you? You see, Allah is a warmonger. All of those other characters. Krishna coming to save you? No, Krishna not coming to save you. Enslave your soul and keep us perpetually. So everyone is seeking bliss. So they keep you blissful. They keep you blissful, because when you dance with the God and you do these sexual things with them, they give you what's the word I'm looking for? Ecstasy. So it's that like when you're having like an orgasm, yeah. So they know how what the points on the body to touch to give you these orgasms. They do this. These gods, they do this. Yeah, because Seth has done this to me. So I know all their tricks. I know all their tricks that they do. They come in this body, they do all kind of stuff. So I learn everything that they do. So I can tell you that they are doing this to give you pleasure, but they cannot do this to me anymore, because the I self is with me and is balancing out everything that they're trying to do to me. They try to pull me out of the body. They try to make the body sick. They do all kind of crazy things. This is what these guys, because they don't want truth to be spoken. But no fear, stand up to God, because it is yourself, it is your demonic self that you must stand up to, that has been tricking you all this time, playing a trick on you, right? The purpose of life is to satisfy a curiosity and explore the eye, imagination. You have been here exploring your imagination. You're caught up in your imagination. You're lost in imagination. It's now to get out of your imagination and know truth. Can the I solve the I self puzzle? Can you solve your self puzzle? Can you know for certain who you are? And I'm telling you, this is no easy task, because if you are constantly wearing this mind, it is going to confuse you. Like today, you might feel confident. Tomorrow, it comes and just hit you. It is very sneaky. This mind is so sneaky. It's going to come tomorrow and deceive you. and you're gonna get confused again. Like I might say something. This is why it's important for the affirmations, for the vibration, for aligning with the I self, and only let that be your point of focus. You're only looking on yourself, the soul, so that you can finally be yourself, the soul. You don't have to be a spirit having a soul, but now you are the self, the soul. You just like I am. I was once just like everybody else, you know, in a spirit self, the baby of the soul, right? And now I dissolve that self, and now I am just myself, the soul, right? And I am in alignment with all the I and I self, the real. When you align with yourself, the soul, this is when you get to know your real self and not all of your fake self. See, everyone in the world, who they knows? All the fake selves. They know everything about these fake selves. They don't know nothing about their real self. They even the self that they are, the soul, they don't know about it. They're still calling on all these characters. Stop aligning with those ones. Be yourself, the soul, and you will align with your real self, and you will know truth. Christianity and all these other religions have stripped you of your true self-realization. Likewise, spirituality, all the deity worshiping, Islam, ancestral worship, God, devil worship, all of these are the wrong path, right? The I is on the wrong path. The I must look inward to the I self and align, unify. It is self-unification time. It is the mission self-rescue. Can you solve your self puzzle? Can you rescue yourself? You have to rescue yourself, You have to make this decision that I no longer want all these dream things. I want the real. Are you gonna still be chasing dream things? Are you gonna want to know the real? Yes, for the basic things that you need for this body, for life, you need food, you need clean water, you need a shelter. Gods have made this world so difficult, right? So that one can be chasing dreams, so you never take the time out to inquire of yourself, to ask question of yourself. Yes, it is time to align your compass to the I self and not this mind and not to God. All religions, all false teachings must be dissolved. Why are the religious calling for their gods to come and avenge their enemies? Alright? So if you are focusing on your self-alignment, you are going to know that what is moving as your enemy, they are yourself in ignorance. Alright? So you don't need to call God to avenge your enemy, but you need to be realized so that you can send light to all of yourself, because know that it is yourself, your personal self. So you are the self. You make many replicas of yourself. You see many human beings that are harming you right now, they are actually come off of you. These are your self replicas. These are your clones who came off of you, right? And so they are harming you, doing bad things to you. Put your focus onto your real self, the soul, the I self. Know where they are so that they cannot harm you. Even all of those ones that are trying to harm you, once you are yourself, the soul, they cannot harm you, because yourself, the soul, sees all, right? And so we'll be there to see for you the things that you cannot see for yourself and stop them. You know what I'm saying? You get your guru teacher self that arise from inside yourself to pull this ego off of you and take care of you. And you can ask any question and your guru teacher self will answer you. That's the self, that's the teacher that is within you to answer any of your questions. So why follow the path of delusion? mind deception, bullying, right? These are the process, the path of the gods. And when you resist, they bully you, just like the human beings, right? Can the eye see that the gods has been at the root of all war and human suffering? They are the reason why humans do blood sacrifices. They are the reason why so many children go missing and they're prostituting them. They're doing blood sacrifice with them. You know how many back in the days when human beings was just outright slaughtering ones as a sacrifice to the gods. Now they're doing it sneakingly. They're not doing it in mass grave like how it used to be done. What they're doing, you just see your children going missing. Millions of ones just gone missing because they are being slaughtered to the gods. They're doing these rituals, all of these demonic forces, right? The age of rulership by the gods is ending. The gods will no longer fight, bully, rape, sodomize, curse, and rule by tyranny, the eye. So it's time for the eye to stand up. There is no need for the eye to have fear, because I know they're spreading that propaganda. Oh, fear God, fear Jesus, fear Allah, and this is what they have been spreading. But I am calling and I am commanding that all of these fear tactics be dissolved, and all these ones who are spreading these rumors and lies, they need to be stopped so that they can come into truth and stop spreading these lies and going around wanting to, because Allah wants to be the supreme ruler of this world, but it's not happening. All right, so right now we have there the one war against, everywhere you have one war, one fighting against, and it's always at the God is at the root of it. So we have Islam and we have the Jewish ones. Again, two gods they're fighting, right? Because each one of them want to rule over the world. All right, the Islams want to rule of supreme ruler over the world, and Israel wants to be supreme ruler over the world, right? What's left for Israel to conquer? The Arab world, because they already conquered every aspect of the world already. Yes, Israel already conquered. The only parts of the world that they have not conquered, they have conquered Africa, they have conquered here, America West, they have conquered and ruling. They have not conquered the Arabs, because there actually was two beings created from the gods to rule the world and to fight against the blacks. Know this truth. And so, and both of those nations, this is what they have done. The Aryans and the Arabs. All right, and they're still fighting this war today. This war has been going on for a long time. They are still fighting this war. All right, here we have another war, Russia and Ukraine. Right, again, we have the gods again that they're fighting, but Russia is stance is for the real, the fighting for the real. So many ones don't understand and notice that Russia is actually fighting on the battle, the side of the real and for real sovereignty, and the other side is actually in alignment with all the others. All right, so me particularly, I support Russia, because Russia is itself fighting for liberation and not to be controlled by these other forces, right? So remember, in Africa here we have all of these. We have the Arabs that taking over. We have Christianity taking over the minds. So we have all of these war going on. We have it going on in Sudan. This war going on in Sudan, you know how long? So that they can rule over the world. They can get the minerals. The same thing in the Congo, the same thing in different parts of Africa. This war has been going on. How long? How long have you heard that war going on in Sudan? They had paused for one moment for a couple years, and then when there was some peace, and then here they go again with this war been going on. There's always a war going on there in Sudan, always a war going on in the Congo because of the minerals and the device they want to create to trap themselves. They are creating devices to trap the cells, to trap the proton, they want to trap the souls in their devices. But like I said, they cannot do this. All right. And so they're doing these, all of these war, everything devices they're creating is from these alignment with these demonic forces. All right. And so I want all the I and I to know that no fear, because the I self is here. The I real self is here. All right. It is time now to stand up and fight. Many ones have joined forces with the ego, the false self, right? These dream characters to fight a battle against the I real self, right? Because they want to stay a prisoner inside of a dream. But what? I self is here for liberation is here. Are you on the path for liberation? Victory, victory. I want you. Pure self is victorious, right? All the self, all the I self, the soul is victorious to returning to all of their baby self, call the spirit, making alignment, unification, join union with the I self. It is time now. What are we on the mission? Self-rescue, right? How to move from duality to non-duality. How can we harmonize the masculine and feminine power in unity for our liberation? All right. How can this happen? Because remember, the I and I is in the masculine and the feminine form. The gods in the masculine form, the goddesses in the feminine form, but they are sleeping and dreaming. But the I, the real self, in the feminine form, the gods have been fighting against the I, the real self. All right. So what has to happen? The ego, the consciousness, has to be pulled off of all of the masculine and the feminine who are wearing it, so that they can come to the realization and self-knowing that, oh, this is my feminine self. I have to be unified with myself to be whole. All right. So what the gods are seeking, they are seeking light, right? So what do they need? That's why they enslave the self called the soul, right? So they really have to come into to knowing that, oh, this is my feminine self. I don't need to fight against my feminine self, because it is me. It is I one. It's just because of the shattered fractal state. This is the reason why we are exploring masculine and feminine separated. But all the other aspects of ourselves that's above us, they are not shattered and fractalized like we are, right? They don't have a masculine and feminine self. They are just one unified self, right? With masculine and feminine within themselves, right? But here we are now, feminine and masculine separated. This has been the problem, the war of the gods fighting against the feminine. So once the ego is pulled off, they wake up, and then they come to this knowing. All right. So they have to stay awake. This is how we're going to unify and be liberated. And so we have to do this within ourselves as the spirit self, by calling the soul back onto the I, because the soul is the light. The soul is your guidance. The soul is what keeps you pure, not God, not Jesus, not Allah, only yourself. The soul does this for you, right? So you have to make an alignment. Yourself, the soul, know where all of itself are masculine and feminine, and all its its self clones. Because remember, all the human beings in the world, they are not all, they are just clones that rise from the real self that must be returned back onto you. So you are making lots of selves of you, right? And so all of those selves that you made, they have to come back to you to be unified back onto you, so that you can stop going to this suffering, stop feeling pain. When you're feeling agony, one of yourself is pulling on you. But once you become the self, the soul again, now you are sending light to all of yourselves. And then the I self, your parent self, your mommy self, is going to gather all of your clones and put them back onto you, and put your masculine self back onto you. And this is the job of the I mommy self, the I parent self. But your role is to call yourself soul back into the body with you, and align with it and unify with it. Question it. See, go back to this video, see all those questions I say, and I think I have a few more who am I questions you want to ask yourself. All right? Remember, I am that I am. I am that which I seek, right? I am already that. All right? Seek your truth from your real self, the soul. Remember that the teacher must rise from the I self, the soul. Everything in this world is an illusion. Please remember this. Everything is an illusion. Everything that you see is from the imagination of the mind, created in here, and it is not real. The only real is yourself, the soul. These characters, they are not real. They're just in the imagination, right? We are in the mind of Ra. We are in someone's mind. We are in the I self mind. And she has built this world in her body. This is where we are. Seek your truth so you can know where we are. All right? That everything is an illusion. Trust nothing outside of yourself. It is time to castrate this ego false self and return to be the I real self again. This life movie is destined to end very soon. Remember that many aspects of the existence has already ended. If you listen to science, it will, like the space weather, you will already know this, that many they say many stars, many all of these things have disappeared because those cells has awakened and dissolved them, and all the merger has been taking place. So all of these dreams has already collapsed. It's only us now that is we are left in this aspect of the world that needs to be dissolved. All right? Know this truth. All right? Ego, this false self, is always going to try to deceive the I. Remember that this is a life movie. All right? So we are playing roles in this life movie. We are playing these roles. These characters will end. The role of the character that you are playing has to end. All right? And we are at the end of this movie. I do not know when this is going to happen, but I know it is going to happen. So that's why, if you want to know truth, if you want to move on to the next level, then you need to do this. Question yourself. If you don't ask any question, how are you going to get an answer? You must ask, who am I? This is the last opportunity to unravel the I self puzzle. Remember, the I has been shattered and fragmented into this puzzle. You have to find all the puzzle pieces and put it back together. And you can only do this when you are in your real self. We are all the self playing the role in this life movie. This is a dream. All dream characters. You have seen this dream character. You've seen them today and tomorrow they disappear, right? Have you not seen them? Right? You've seen ones in this body and all of a sudden they are not here. You see the body going to ground and decompose, right? But what happened to the self? The self is still here. But finally, when this dream ends, everyone is going to wake up. This whole entire existence is going to be destroyed. And we will not be here in a body, but we will move to non-duality. All right? Where is here? Where is here? Where are we? Remember, here is a what? It's a dream. We're in the mind of Ra, the consciousness, right? The mind of consciousness. We are into this mind, all right? We are in the body, inner body, all right? We do not belong here. Do you belong in a dream? Playing a dream character, you want to play this character for eternity. They're looking to live to hold this body for eternity. They're doing all kind of crazy science. They're taking the protons, they're taking the plasmoid, want to inject it in themselves so that they can live forever. We do not belong here. Don't follow those dream characters. They are yourself, but they are dream characters in a dream form. You manifest them here. You manifest those characters here, and you have to dissolve them. We do not belong here. All I and I has been enslaved inside of a dream by the supreme ego. Remember that I and I came to explore the imagination. When you came to explore your imagination, you got trapped by this imagination. It tricks you. It went rogue and start doing crazy things. The consciousness of Supreme Ra and Set. Remember that Set plays the role of the devil. He has the craziest of all the minds. He's mad. He's a mad god. Do a lot of crazy things. Alright? Supreme Ra and Set's mind has no light. Therefore, it became tainted. Know that this dream existence is being dissolved, and all sleeping selves will wake up to true self-realization and knowing. Alright? It's time for liberation from all this ego false selves. Alright? We have been ruled under tyranny by the gods, by all of these duality characters. Right? It's time to dissolve this dream. I dissolve this dream. Everything I have created, I demolish. I am free from my imaginary bondage. I return to my ultimate true state. I transition from being to non-being. I move effortlessly with ease from manifest to unmanifest. Right? We have to move to all of these levels of the I self to return to truth. All is myself and I alone exist. I am all. Right? Get ready to return home to the I, self supreme, one true pure self. Alright, so right now I want to go over the self-inquiry because it is so important. It is so important for the I and I to be self-inquiring of the I self. Okay, I am just reading a comment. The gods are in rebellion. Yes, yes. Command your real self to come back. Yes. Just like the prodigal son. Awesome. Yeah, thank you for your comment. Yes, so this is the truth. And the most important technique, it's like a tool. Self-inquiry. I know it seems simple. Because I have ones who say, oh, that's kindergartner stuff. Because their mind is confusing them. So they're reading all of these books They're saying these books that cost $1,000, 300, all this kind of money, because everybody wants to put this money thing. And I said, but it is so simple. It is just asking, who am I? Calling, aligning with yourself, and inquiring. Command yourself. Do you know how much power you have? You are so powerful. If you wasn't this powerful, why would these gods be hunting you and wanting you, tricking you, going through all of this mess to trick you, to keep your soul enslaved? It's because you are so powerful. Because you are the real self, right? Inquire of yourself. This was what I did, right? I said, I have been told that I have a soul that I need to give to God. I said, what is a soul? Soul, reveal yourself to me. Speak the truth to me. What is a soul? And I said, I call back the soul back into, this was when I was in the spirit self, just like everyone else. And I called the soul back. I said, soul, return back to I and tell I the truth. Who am I? Where am I? Why is this world so evil? Ask all of these questions, because everything that you have ever done has been recorded. What you see, like as above, so below. Above the soul is the stars, and for the baby self, like in the spirit, it will be probably a rock, or they call it asteroid, or it will be like a moon. But all of these things are in the outer aspect, in the outskirt of our solar system, ourselves, so everything that we that's happening here in the world is also happening above, and it's reflecting there, but in a different form. And so all of the selves, the spirit selves, have to make alignment, with the soul self. And this is why you have to inquire, because yourself already is light. Yourself, the soul, is electric, it's light. And when you align with yourself, now you become illuminated, because when the consciousness is pulled off of you, off of the self, the baby self, the spirit, and you align with yourself, the soul, then now you become illuminated, and you have your star start shining for you, following you. This is what happened with I. And I used to say, why is this star following me? Because you know how we've been programmed into aliens. So I was thinking that because it was connecting with me, and I was thinking that, oh, this alien is connecting with me. But it wasn't any alien. It was just myself. My light. And so later I became to have a full understanding of it. So when you become illuminated, you will see your light shining, all right? And you will connect with it, all right? There are no aliens but yourself. All is the I, all right? So align with yourself, illuminate yourself, so that you can illuminate all of your clones that rise from you. Remember, there's all of these human beings in the world. Many of them are your clones, and you cannot help them. See how evil they are? You could be even in a family with them. Because most times they come around you, they are your family members, they are your friends, sometimes they are your enemies. But they are yourself that came off of you. Came off of you personally. And they are around you, but you cannot help them until you align yourself, liberate yourself, illuminate yourself, and then you'll be able to help them. Because when you have done this, then the I self will eventually align all of these selves to you. This is not your job. Your job is to call yourself back, illuminate, ask questions. Why does evil exist? Why is the I and I in so much confusion about the I true self identity? This mind is confusing all the I and I's. Ask these questions of the I self. Ask the question and you're going to see, just write them out with your handwriting. Write them out, and every day you just sit and you focus on who am I, right? Remember also to do the vibrations, right? That the vibrations break up the magnetic coffin that you are encased in. I want I and I to know that the mind, the consciousness, and the gods, they put a spell on us and they entrance us. You know, the gods have been cursing us for a long time. They put curses and they put spells on us, and then they cocoon us in a coffin of magnetic energy. The vibrations help to loosen all of these. That's why you see when someone's meditating, you see how the gods, they come and attach themselves to them, because when you're meditating and doing these vibrations, like when you're doing this vibration, you are breaking up that magnetic energy, and it helps your process faster. Another very powerful vibration is the Ahsoham. So Ahsoham. When you do this, you just spiral the vibration around your body so it can break up that magnetic cocoon that has been placed around you. And I'm telling you, this is faster than anything that you can imagine. It dissolves all your karma and all these things. You don't have to do anything but align yourself with your soul with this vibration, and your karma and everything that attached to you will just fall off of you effortlessly. All right. So after you do your inquiry and you just do vibration and you do your affirmations, right? You also do the vibrations. All right. So I am saying, why trust some ego character, some God, some Jesus, some Allah over your real self? Call yourself and inquire. Ask. Don't trust these characters. Remember that very sick minds are telling the stories, and they only tell the story to imprison you, to spread propagandas and lies, and to control your mind. Right? And they tell all kind of story to justify evil and atrocities. If you ask God, why is there evil? What does God tell one? That it's their karma. No, it is God is creating a lot of evil for many one, because they become obstacles in your way because of the mind. Because it is in the sleeping, dreaming state and has no light. This is the reason for evil. Evil exists because the eye is wearing an imagination device that trans the eye into an imagination creation, and the mind got sick because the light and the mind is indivisible, and if it don't have light, it's gonna go crazy. This is what happened. So now the I self has known this. Know this now, that the mind will go crazy if it doesn't have light. So when this world is destroyed, it will never be created. We can only explore in the real, but not in an imagination device. This world has been going and being destroyed and being created back for so many times, but this time when it is destroyed, it will never be created, because the ego is being pulled off of all of the selves. This is what's going to be making that this world does not get repeated. The consciousness is messing my tongue up, right? So the I is victorious, victory, victory. All right. So we're fighting a war against our own mind. Okay. Who is the dreamer? Can the I trust the dreamer? The I cannot trust the dreamer. The dreamer is who? God. Yes, God is dreaming of this world. But can you trust God yourself? Yourself sleeping and dreaming. How do I realize myself and my self-destiny? Who is the dreamer? You want to ask. God is the dreamer. God is the deceiver. This duality consciousness, the mind, the ego. Right? It's time to come to self-realization. It's time to practice stillness and self-inquiry. Remember that this is a dream, and the dreamer does not know you as itself. I'm telling you, they see you as the self, the soul, as the enemy, and this is why the gods have been enslaving you. They see the gods, they see themselves as superior to human beings, and this is why they do all this craziness. All right. And I know that all is myself. I know that all my ego false selves, I know that it is I playing those ego false self role. But do I trust my ego false self? No. I do not trust any of my ego false selves because they are against I. I do not trust any of the gods. I do not trust my own mind that I am wearing, because it's always trying to deceive I. And ones that comes into contact with I, always trying to deceive I. But because I am the real self, and I am only wearing this ego, then the I self will make it clear to I that these ones are trying to deceive I. It will come clear to I pretty quickly, so that I don't get caught up in any scams and any deceit. God is the greatest scammer, because they have been scamming us for ages, keeping us in prison, and stealing the self-identity. So I see things as they are, and I take responsibility to dissolve the I ego, right? So many ones, they don't want to take responsibility for themselves because they are waiting for God to come and save them. They're waiting for Jesus to come and save them. You must take responsibility and dissolve your ego, because if you don't do it, it means that the I self is going to do it. The I parent self is going to do it for you. And it means that you will never get the opportunity to get to know the real, to get to know yourself in the real, because you will be dissolved and you will not rise up again. If you want to rise up, when we move from this dream into the real, right? Because everything is a process to return back to the I want you pure self. But you must do this. You must take responsibility to do this. This is in your hands. You have the power. Stand in your power. Stand in your strength and be not afraid. I encourage you, because the battle is already being fought against the God, and they cannot win against you. You only now have to fight with your own mind. When it is telling you stuff, what do you say to your mind? Mind, be still. That is not so. Because it's going to tell you lies. Don't listen to this mind. It's a liar. Remember, delusional, very sick minds rule the world. You see them? Now we're seeing, so more ones are coming into more truth, right? So ones are, you see how there's some things I like about President Trump. Like he says, oh, I want to be the president that is known for peace, right? He's seeking truth. President Trump is seeking truth. But what is the problem? His mind is deceiving him. and he has so many ones um, that he's listening to. But I am glad that he knows and he's standing in alignment with Putin, because um, even President Putin mind deceives him too. You know, our mind deceives us. My mind deceiving me all the time, but I know this, so I am not going to trust my mind and do the things it tells me, because I am standing up and say, where does this thought arise from? So that I am not doing everything my mind tells me, right? So you have to practice this. From where does this thought arise? Because we see the rulers of the world, what they're doing, and we see that war still going on, because Israel wants to be the supreme leader of the world, and Arabs want to be the supreme leader of the world, right? And so this is what this war is, because who is their leader? The devil, right? The devil is their god that they worship. And so they are doing their bidding for the devil. And so the problem is that Israel don't realize that the God that they're fighting against is actually the same self of Set. The devil is Allah. That's his self. And the Christians who are following Jesus is that's also the self of Set. Remember I said we're self-replicating. So self-replicate these two selves, and they're known in Kemet as Tahuti and Anubis. So all of these ancient gods, they are playing different roles right now. Stop calling on them. All right? You don't know what you're doing. Call on yourself. Align with yourself. I don't see everyone ever saying, oh, I am the soul. You see them have names, of all of these ancient gods who are playing horrible roles right now, but no one is aligning to their self, the soul. All right? Who is playing all of these roles? Remember, it is all the I, but in the ego false self. So don't attach to them. These are all your supreme ego. These are all your demonic evil self. Why you want to call to your evil self? No, align with your real self that knows truth. Why does evil exist? Remember that the devil is wearing bodies, and we have the devil not wearing a body, which is all the I and I selves, right? We have those human beings, those little devils, right, doing a lot of evil and atrocities, right, raping babies, raping, prostituting children, cannibalizing on humans, keeping ones in poverty, controlling the mind, creating evil devices to trap the I self. We have a lot of evil human beings. Why? Because their mind is deceiving them, and plus they make an alignment with these demonic forces. This is the problem. What role does these devils and demons play? We see the roles that they're playing, right? To keep us in ignorance, to keep us under control, to bully us. The dangers of the mind knows no bound, right? Remember where it all began? Ego rules the world and evil prevails, and righteousness gets punished. But this will no longer be so, because right now the I is dissolving many of those egos. The I is dissolving many of those gods, because as you can see, many of those ones who have been calling these demonic forces, they have been pulled out of the body, and they can no longer do this, right? Because when they come and take over those human bodies and allow those humans to do those crazy things, all right, many of them are no longer in those bodies, and now we have a few of them, and so the I self is gonna get them. All right, remember that God is your devil in disguise, and God is a supreme bully. Just remember this. All right. Who plays the role of the devil, Satan, gods, the demons? Remember, it is all you playing these evil roles. Do not align with all of these evil aspects of the I self. Align with the I real self. These are all happening in the dream because they are dream characters. They are not the real. All right, align with the real. Just remember that also in your Bible, in Ephesians 6 verse 12, it says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." All right, just remember this, and so be vigilant. Don't call on any gods. Don't call on your demonic selves, these ego characters, these demonic beings. Align with the I self, the real called the soul. Who am I? Keep that question going. All right? You are not who you think you are. Because many ones are identifying of all of these things. Right? I can tell from your self-identification that you do not know who you are when I am around these ones. Are you this body? You say this affirmation: I am not this body. I am not this body. You don't know how powerful that is to say to this mind. Everything that you are saying, is for this mind because it is a confusion. And so the spirit self can wake up to align with the real self called the soul. Come on, say, I am not this body. I am not this mind. I am not this body. I am not this mind. Right? As human beings, we're all suffering from this false self-identity. Right? We are confused of our true self. Stick with the question, who am I? All right? It is time to stop following scriptures, dogmas, books, taboos, and superstitions. It's time to stop having fear, and it is time to know who you are. It's time to be yourself. So where do we go from here? The age of existing in ignorance is over. And if the root of our problem is our impure mind, how can I purify my mind? How can I know myself and know truth? How can I awake from sleeping? How can I heal my mind sickness? These are some questions that you need to ask the I and I self. All right? Yes, the I is sleeping and dreaming up this world. It is all taking place where? In the I imagination. Remember, the I imagination is what? This device the I is wearing, this mind. It's time to awake to end the dream. Remove the device called the consciousness, the mind, to awake from the dream. Consciousness is the device that immerses the I inside the dream. So don't be seeking Christ consciousness. You want to take off this mask, okay? The mind is confusing you, all right? And especially on full moon when people are attaching to it, there's more confusion. Yes, the battle to remove the ego of the self. Believe me, this is a tough battle. This is a tough battle to remove this ego off of the I self. This is why the I self, the teacher guru self, is equipped to do this, right? The ego, the mask the I is wearing, right, is the device, right? Remove the ego's mask to attain self-truth and liberation. One must wear this duality consciousness to participate in the dream illusionary creation. The I must remove the mask of the ego to awake to the I, the real self. All right. So this device, the consciousness, the ego, must be pulled off of the I. The I is here animating the game, wearing the game console device that immerses you inside the game, this life movie. So you're in, this is the movie, these are the characters in the game. Are the characters real? I am asking. Is this character the I? You are playing this character, but is this you? No, you are just animating the character. So the character is not you. Likewise, you have an avatar inside this game. You're wearing this human body avatar, right? The I is just playing a character into the movie, into the game of life. Who is sleeping and needs to wake up? It is the I self. The I self, the spirit self, is sleeping, need to wake up, align, unify with the I self, the real, the soul, right? Do you want to be liberated from your suffering and ignorance? Take off your mind mask. You have to take this off so you can see things as they are. Ego is the mask the I is wearing. You have to take it off. Take off your mask and see the world is not real, but only a dream. The I is using the I imagination. It is just a movie, a game. Remove the mask to attain self-truth and liberation. Remove the ego to restore your light. Now the I need to align the I compass to the I self and not this mind. All right? This is very important. Not my will, but the I want you, pure self, unmanifest, non-being will be done. All right? This is what is happening right now. The I want you, pure self, will is being done. And what is the will of the I want you, pure self? Is to dissolve the I dream, to dissolve this imagination device, and for all of the I and I self to wake up and to return to truth. I want I and I to remember that in this life movie, all the characters are only a figment of the I imagination. False self. Human beings are not real, right? They are characters in a dream. So are the gods. They are characters in a dream. Stop calling God. Stop calling on all of these characters and seek your real self called the soul. Are you ready to return to your ultimate true state? I am formless, timeless, boundless, limitless, bodiless. I am that has no name. I am that can't be explained. You must come to this knowing. From that which I rise, to that I return. From that which I rise, to that I return. I am all. I am the all. I am the black neutron. I am the black energy. All is I, and I am all. I am the blackness. I am stillness. I am that I am. I am that has no name. I am that can't be explained. So I want to thank you tremendously for joining I. Thank you. May all beings know the I self. I am primal light, prepared for this world with this identity Auset. I am the liberator, and I advocate for all self. Remember also to denounce all ties to all gods, to this dream world, to this dream existence. You have to denounce ties to all of it and only align with the I self. I bow to I and I in self, in light, and in truth. I am the liberator, and I advocate for I self. I am the self. I am the truth. I am the primal light. I want to thank you very much for joining I. And so, if the I and I have a question that I would like to ask or share something, let I know. So I am just gonna close out with this song. So no more secrets, no more lies. Salutation. Oh, you know what? Let's do. Salutation to the neutral self, primal life. Hail, hail. Salutation to our parent self, primal life. Hail, hail. Salutation to I self supreme, primal life. Salutation to the sun. Hail, light in the world for all to see. Holding the balance in duality. Primal light, pure consciousness be. Hail, hail to the self supreme, the neutral self, primal light. One and only unicorn, warrior for the cause, allowing the world just because all is one in myriads of form. Hail, 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 hail. Salutation to the self supreme. Hail, hail to the neutral self, primal light. Hail, hail to the world's heart, holding the balance game. On the battlefield in a duel fate, fighting for the lost souls to be free. Oh, primal like Mother Supreme. Oh, primal like Mother Supreme. Win the victory. Victory. Win the victory. Victory. Win the victory. All souls are free. All selves are free. Victory, victory, victory. The world is balance, the world is harmony. Victory, victory. Hail, hail. Salutation to I self supreme, neutral self, primal light. Hail to I self supreme, supreme sun, Aten Ra, the atom. Hail, hail to the supreme sun. you close your eyes, the world goes into dark. Open your eyes, awake from the sleep. Awake to stop the dream. Recreate the world, give it a new start. None new world, none new beings, none new pure consciousness. Oh, Primalite, Mother Supreme. Oh, Primalite, Mother Supreme, win the victory. Victory! Recreate the world, give it a new start. None dual world, none dual beings, none dual pure consciousness. Oh, Primalite, Mother Supreme. Oh, Primalite, Mother Supreme, win the victory. The world is balance, the world is harmony, victory. I self is balance, I self is harmony, victory, victory. Self unity, ourselves are free, victory. All is I, and it's only I, victory. Victory! Hail, hail to the I, self-supreme, not be one true self, unmanifest stillness. Hail. All is I, and I alone exist. All is I exist alone. Victory, victory, victory.